All right, so I'm Laura Miller, and I serve as the Vice Treasurer on the board of the Everett Recovery Café. Like many of you, I have loved ones who have battled addiction and finding their path toward recovery. For me, it's my older sister who has been struggling with active addiction for the past 15 years. And like so many who suffer, the battle hasn't just been with substance use. It's also been with mental health challenges, housing insecurity, and maybe worst of all, the debilitating absence of community and support. If you've ever loved someone facing addiction, you know what that journey feels like. You try everything you can to help. You give, and you give, and you give, until what you're left with is helplessness, grief, and broken trust. Often, it becomes impossible to keep supporting or even maintain a relationship. And when that happens, the person you love is left isolated, fighting to survive in a world constantly reminding them that their life doesn't matter, that they're not productive, not valuable, not meaningful. Now, I challenge you to recall a time in your life when you accomplished an incredible feat that you feel proud of. Did you do it alone? Or did you have your community, loved ones, mentors, and champions rooting you on and helping you along the way? Now imagine losing your entire support system and facing that challenge again without it. The Everett Recovery Café is a support system, community, group of loved ones and mentors and champions for those fighting through their recovery and transformation. When you no longer can be that community for the person you love, when it's too heavy, too painful, the cafe is there. The cafe reminds every person who walks through those doors, you matter, you are worth supporting, you have gifts, and you belong. It's more than just a building on California Avenue. Yes, it's a warm, welcoming space where members can share a meal, take a class, use a computer, or find shelter and transportation resources. But it's also where people discover friendship, mentorship, accountability, and purpose. It's where someone who has been told and reminded time and again that they aren't worth anything and suddenly realize that they can give back by helping to care for the space, by learning new skills, by setting goals and working toward them with the help of a personal recovery coach. It's where people celebrate wins, process struggles, and, maybe for the first time, feel true belonging. And here's what makes it even more powerful. Many of the people working at the cafe are themselves graduates of the program. Every day, they walk back into a space that once saved them, and they pour their passion, empathy, and strength into helping the next person find their way. That is the heartbeat of the cafe. When I was asked to give the ask tonight, the leadership team challenged me with this. If you had $1 million for giving, where would you put it? Without hesitation, every penny to the Everett Recovery Café. Not because other nonprofit organizations aren't doing incredible, important, and much needed work. They are, but this one's personal. I've seen the transformation that happens here, and I think the secret is this. The staff aren't just employees. They are people who have walked the very road themselves. They know what it feels like to be broken down by addiction, mental health challenges, and housing insecurity. They know the fear, the loss, the hopelessness. They know what it feels like to believe you've lost everything, and they know what it feels like to start over. Because of the cafe, they get to stand on the other side of that journey and pour themselves back into others. They watch lives shift from despair to resilience, from isolation to belonging, from shame to purpose. And it comes with authenticity and compassion that you can't manufacture. They don't just work here, they pour themselves into this space. They give back out of gratitude, out of passion, out of a fierce commitment to help the next person. And in doing so, they find new meaning in their own recovery. That cycle of healing turning into helping, of brokenness turning into strength, is what makes the cafe unlike anywhere else. Ironically, as I was writing this, a notification popped up on my screen that spoke just to how real and personal this work truly is. It was an email from a cafe staff member who also serves on the committee helping to plan tonight's event. He said he couldn't make the meeting that day because one of the members, who he also coaches through the Recovery Coach program, needed him at a court hearing. To me, that's no different than a parent showing up for their child's game or a friend helping someone move during a big life change. And here's the thing, It wasn't presented as extraordinary. It was a normal occurrence mentioned casually, because that's simply what happens here. The staff aren't just doing a job. They instinctively show up for this community, supporting, advocating, and being the champion for the people they walk alongside. How powerful is that? Everything about the Recovery Café, the success of its members, the passion of its staff, the community it builds, it's all deeply personal. It's personal to the staff, to the members, to the board. It's personal to me. I love many people who have or currently struggle with these very challenges, most personal to me being my big sister. I walked into the cafe for the first time on a beautiful and sunny July morning just over a year ago. And I walked out with something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Hope that someday my sister might walk through those same doors and find her new lease on life. That same hope that has already saved so many before her. So tonight, I'm inviting you to join me to give generously, to invest in the cafe and in the lives of the people who walk through its doors. Because when you give here, you are giving somebody their dignity back. You are giving them a community, you are giving them hope. And there is no more meaningful gift than that.